Hello there, just a quick comparison between the L96 and Thunder M2, which is available from the slots machine in tunnels. Obviously in this video I'm not going to compare the raw damage output because L96 would clearly win, but instead we will compare the overall qualities of each weapon, and the purpose is to determine whether the Thunder M2 is worth using endgame. So let's look at the base stats of each weapon loaded with the best ammunition. Starting from the Thunder M2, we see that it has a damage of 1150 and a penetration of 85. That's pretty decent for the rifle of level 25. It has a 8-round mag, which is very useful in PvP, and it also has less requirements in order to be equipped for a player. So only 4 strength, 6 accuracy, and a level of 25. This is especially useful because it gives you more freedom in your build. You can actually put some points in luck if you want that crit chance. You can put more points in the dexterity to run faster, or you can maybe put more, more points in strength to carry more and have more health points. But L96 obviously shines in the base damage of 1200 and the penetration, which is the best penetration, 110. The magazine is the standard 5-round mag, so it loses to Thunder M2 in that aspect, and the requirements, you all know them. So now let's take a look at the combat the combat parameters of every weapon. So if you use my formula to calculate the damage output, the raw damage on an unarmored target in the PvP on the Thunder M2 would be around 1856, which is a one shot in any case if the target is unarmored, but you will hardly face anyone besides hunters being unarmored. So let's take a look now at the damage on the SM3 plate. So you have the medium vest, top medium vest, and the SM3 plates. Everything is on 100%. So in this case, the damage output on the Thunder M2 would be 1088. So with enough luck, you will one-shot engineers and some hunters, but with mercs and the miners you will struggle, because you will either have to make second or third shot or aim for the head, which you should do anyway. Aim for the head, always aim for the head, don't bother. Next, the headshot. Assuming the crit gives us twice the damage, we get 2868 damage. So this is enough to even kill a miner with one shot, and I had a chance to test it out. It really works. I've been doing roughly 2000 damage on miners from the Thunder M2, so it's possible to one shot them. And the crit chance, by the way, the same as on L96, so the crits will be as frequent as on Thunder M2 and on L96. There's no difference. Now, the partial reload and the full reload on Thunder is better. It's a bit better than on L96 though. So the partial reload will take you 1.5 seconds, and the full reload will take you 2.7 seconds. The rate of fire is the same on both guns, though the animation of bolt cycling on both of these guns is the same, hence that's why the rate of fire is the same. Now the L96 shows us a great raw damage on the unarmored targets, so that this will one-shot pretty much everybody, 1936 damage. On the SM3 plates you get a nice damage boost, so with the output of 1469 damage, you can actually one-shot the majority of the mercenaries. So the only target you will not one-shot is the miner. But then again, if you aim for the headshot, you will do almost 4000 damage, which is enormous. So I mean, there's no point. That's a one shot. Now the partial reload on L96 is a bit slower, as I said, so it's 1.8 seconds, and the full reload takes almost 3 seconds. So well, it's pretty much the same anyway. Now let's take a look at some parameters I didn't bother to compare before in my previous videos. So as we all know, with the PO2 or PO3, the effective range is 300 meters or 984 feet. It feels so awkward to use these measurements. I mean, how do you use them? Now the bullet velocity is what's interesting about those two weapons. So actually the bullet velocity has been measured by me and my clan leader from the distance of 300 meters. So that's pretty much the max range at which you would shoot. So it's kinda, I mean, it's a normal scenario in which you will be playing. So the bullet velocity for the Thunder M2 is 817 meters per second, and the bullet velocity for the L96 is superior. It's 1060 meters per second. Now I think personally that this is just a habit of you know, shooting with Thunder or the L96, because you can account for the travel distance of the bullet and you know, adjust your aim accordingly. But for the majority of the players that are used to play with the L96, switching back to the Thunder will be a downgrade, since they are used to the fact that L96 is pretty much hit scan, but not quite hit scan, but still. And compared to the L96, the Thunder is worse. But then again, I think it's just the muscle memory, and once you get used to Thunder M2, this is not really a problem. I mean, you can still follow the targets and aim correctly at them at max range, though. So I mean, that's a win for L96, but still, I kind of consider that it's up to you. Now, when it comes to the bullets availability, here the Thunder M2 wins clearly, and that's one of the reasons I really love that gun. That's because you can buy your ammunition pretty much everywhere, and the AP rounds have more penetration of 90 compared to the craft ammunition which have a penetration of 85. So for the L96, on the other hand, the only way to obtain bullets is basically going to canyon, and this can be a problem if your server is not balanced and one faction just owns another and prevents it from taking any, you know, any canyon bases. I mean, and you don't have any bullet stock for L96. I mean, you're screwed. I mean, you cannot use your weapon. I mean, you have a weapon you cannot use. What the hell is that? So that's pretty much it. So when we compare all of these qualities of the weapons, we come to the conclusion that Thunder actually has more positive qualities. But then again, I mean, I really doubt you would choose Thunder for your gameplay, since the L96 is available. Then again, if you want to change your gameplay, if you want something new, something unusual, the Thunder M2 is the way to go. It's an amazing gun, and you can be competitive with it. I mean, starting from level 25, yeah. So, but there's a problem. I mean, there's always a problem. Recently, several weeks ago, there was a brainstorming session in the Russian part of the Will to Live online Discord, and the problem is, when I asked Division by Zero, the community manager, whether the slot versions of the weapons will be actually, if they would be able to be modified, you know, with the introduction of the new mod system. He said that they might become obsolete because, you know, the normal versions would just be able to be modified. So I mean, what's the point of the slot machines? And I mean, I even proposed the solution to this. So just make the slot versions unmodded, but with the changed stats. It's the same story as with the Smith & Wesson 500. I mean, the special version from the airdrops is just basically the same gun. It's considered as the same gun by the game if you look at the proficiency tree, but it has different stats. I mean, make the same thing for the M2 weapons from the slots, so they can be modified too with the increased stats. But I mean, he said he doesn't know whether they would be able to be modified or no. So just a moment of silence for all of you who spent like millions farming those slot machines for the M2 versions of the weapons. I mean, seriously, I'm kind of pissed off about that. But I mean, let's just wait and see how it will go. Meanwhile, if you have an opportunity to get M2 weapon, I mean, get it anyway. But if you're very fanatic about this and want to spend tens of millions of slot machines, I mean, you probably should just consider waiting, because I mean you can just spend it nowhere. I mean, just sink them in the trash. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for your attention, and see ya.